Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host Johnny, and today I'm joined by Ak and Fatty. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. You know, I mean, it's been a bit of a funny last couple of days with the UCL semi-finals. Really been exciting, but you know, some interesting results that come out of that. But we'll get into that later.
Didn't say full table today.
Oh, it's not a full table. Real Madrid lost, so Adasa didn't want to come. He couldn't face the truth. He couldn't face the music.
You know what? When he doesn't appear on the podcast, he doesn't listen to it.
You reckon?
I'm going to call it now.
This is a test.
And I'm not going to tell him. We're not going to tell him, and let's see if he says anything about
this
it.
This is a test. So next
really
week,
interested to hear what he has to say.
He's been pretty upset, to be honest, this morning, and
but he always justifies his anger, doesn't he?
somehow, you know, it's Real Madrid lost because of other factors, and you know, he can never just put his hand up and say, "Yep, we will beat him."
Well, I'm not saying that like you're wrong about that, because you're very much correct. Real Madrid did have like 58 injuries, guys.
Here we go.
Look,
I have to stand up for Adasi here, guys.
I'm pretty biased when it comes to football, but Adasi would say that Real Madrid cured COVID. Like
Perez, you mean Perez?
Perez is different level.
To be honest, yeah, like in our last podcast, guys, I was quite surprised with his position on the whole thing, hey?
Perez reached God status for him. I don't know why.
Speaking of,
following to the end of the line.
Super League's died down quicker than COVID cases. What's going on?
Apparently, they had to pay the bank or whoever was lending them the
JP
money.
Morgan.
Yeah, apparently they had to pay out some shit that they're pulling out of this Super League, but haven't heard anything.
What I think it was such a big news when he came out that
Yeah, it was quite a whirlwind of results.
They tried to stop talking about that now. Let's focus on this until we get our shit together properly and come back. Because I feel like Perez is not done.
No, he's not done. And I believe, I think UEFA had a bit of a meeting with some of these clubs that have not distanced themselves enough away from it, and said that they could be looking at a 2-year ban possibly for Juventus, Milan, Real Madrid and Barcelona, because they just haven't pushed themselves further enough away. How much is enough? I don't know. It sounds like a bit of a funny one to say they haven't distanced themselves enough, but yeah,
I think it's just a way for flexing their muscle again, because you know when they realise that their PR strategy works, so they're more like, "Fuck you, we can."
Yeah, they feel like they're in the position now that they can start
They've got
pushing
all the
back.
leverage now. That's right.
That leverage is it.
Didn't the Premier League as well want to punish the top six?
Yeah,
the
apparently
big six?
I don't think anything's going to come of that, to be honest. There's enough unrest with fans and their owners of clubs now at the moment.
Yeah, Man United fans.
Surprisingly, Man City fans haven't done shit. I don't know if it's because they're in the Champions League final or whatever. They don't want to unrest the club. They're too scared about ruining their only opportunity of possibly winning the Champions League.
It's possible. I think Man City and Chelsea were able to get a lot of goodwill by being the first two to quit the Super League. Man United certainly weren't.
It doesn't detract from the fact that they were still a party to it.
You're
Just
right.
because they pulled out first doesn't make it less. So if
You're right. Yeah,
if
absolutely.
I murder someone and you murder someone, but I admit first, doesn't make it less of a crime.
No, you're absolutely right. But for whatever reason, they've been able to get some kind of goodwill with their fans and to calm that unrest. Unlike Manchester United.
I think it's to do with the final. I think it's to do with the final.
It does matter when you pull out. Otherwise, ask Jared Hayne.
It was just a finger, but
Too soon.
His finger.
Too soon.
It was
Too
just
fast?
his finger, bro.
Well,
Don't
for
get
Jared,
into
it's
that,
too
bro.
soon, mate.
Don't get into that.
Fair enough. What do you guys take of the United fans and what they did at the Liverpool game?
Mate, good on them. They've always felt strongly about the Glazers.
They were never happy when they first got bought.
They were never happy, and that's why they started that FC of Manchester, whatever the other club was.
Yep.
They've always been opposed to it. I guess this was just more of a reason for them to actually come out and oppose it. And credit to them, they did it in numbers. Enough so that they forced...
It wasn't so much the
forced
numbers, it was where they did it.
Yeah, but it forced the rescheduling of the game. So that was a massive statement that was made. Could be to their detriment, because now they're going to have a backlog of schedule, and they've got, you know, Europa League commitments, and you know, going into the pointy end of the season in the Premier League, trying to secure that top 4 spot, because it's very tight up there. So who knows, could backfire on them.
I had this argument with someone about, did they need to use the violence, or did they need to do it the way they did it? If you want your message across, I'm sorry, but yes, if you have a peaceful protest outside the stadium,
Fuck, you sound like BLM now.
Yeah.
Support this guy.
no, I'm not going to
Politics,
breaking into stores and stealing stuff.
Yeah, but you're saying if you wanted to get across, you got to be violent.
Violent in a way of standing out and make it uncomfortable for the club. If you stand outside the club and have a note saying I don't want you guys to be here, nothing's going to happen. But if you make it uncomfortable enough to raise the eyebrows that it did around the world, then your message is getting across a lot
It's
stronger.
funny that happened as well locally with us, with the Wanderers fans. There's a bit of unrest and unhappiness with CEO John Tatsumas apparently, and there's the RBB's come out and put up a banner at Wanderers headquarters stating that they want him to leave, and a bit of a display. Not as strong a message as in Europe, but I mean, who knows if anything comes of that. Could be a flash in the pan, could be something more.
Well, we saw the fan power a few years ago when the whole league went against Gallup.
Yeah.
All the fans turned on Gallup, and then Gallup and the clubs did nothing to back the fans.
There's definitely power in numbers, especially when it comes to fans and their clubs, because that's where the money comes from, right? And there's definitely leverage there. It just, you've got to be organised enough, I suppose, to be able
100%.
to make some sort of
Capitalise on it.
yeah, to make some sort of ripple in the ocean.
Yeah, testament to that is the reaction to the European Super League.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of Europe, Chelsea, my friend.
Yes, Chelsea.
That's why you're in a Chelsea jersey today.
I knew Akram was coming, and I wanted to rub it in his face. At the richest club.
Before I let him analyse in detail the loss. I did believe that Chelsea would make it through. And
I didn't think so.
I said as much in the chat. I made a note.
You're on record. We get it, mate. Yeah.
I felt
100%.
Chelsea would sneak through, and it was more than sneak. To be honest, they did it comfortably overall over the two legs.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, surprisingly.
I'm just happy that in the last week or two, Real Madrid didn't do anything to embarrass the sport. I mean, from spearheading a Revolution League to playing a prestigious league semi-final on a training pitch.
Oh, every time, mate.
Like it's a bit embarrassing for the sport.
Speaking of training pitches, did you see the design for the new stadium? Or apparently it's been leaked how it's going to look.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Yeah,
looks amazing.
it does 100%. Anyway, so I
But
was
doesn't have the
surprised.
money now. Apparently he's going to get the money from JP Morgan Bank, $5 billion.
No, last time I saw Perez was a Centrelink, so I don't know. I hope he's okay. Darcy's checking up on him.
Yeah, that's why he's not here right now.
His demeanour is not.
His body language.
Anyway, guys, Chelsea got through comfortably. So, was that the biggest surprise for you guys? Was like how comfortable the result was?
Yes, and the style of play and how dominant Chelsea were across both legs. Yes, I was surprised.
Yep.
No, I'm
because you know everything, mate. So.
To me, it just looks like Real Madrid's at that period where the whole squad's just at a point where that's it, it's finished. I just feel like it's that end of an era. They're all getting to that age, and
Modric, Kroos,
they're past the prime. So this is an indicator of that. Same as we saw Barcelona against the Romas, against the Liverpools. Same sort of thing. The squad needs to be overhauled.
Yeah, no,
I think it's over for that generation. And this is probably their last. I don't know, say last, but best chance to win the league this season. It's very close, but from next season, they're going to be major changes.
Ramos will be gone, by the looks of it. Modric and Kroos are getting old. Benzema, to be honest, I thought was the best player of Real Madrid across both legs.
Yeah, and he's probably been their best player this season. Possible exception maybe Courtois. But besides that, I think he has been. I tend to agree, Fatty. I think it's time to really overhaul the squad. I think they've been delaying it.
Yep.
Because Modric has been on these reduced contracts every couple of years. It looks like he's going to go. Then he signs. To be honest, I don't think he's a first team player in the squad, automatic lineup anymore. I think we need to look at giving Valverde that spot as a permanent starting lineup. And at the same time, there's a lot of rumours that Varane is thinking about jumping ship too.
Well, that's
so that
the
whole
thing,
back line, that whole centre of defence that's been there for so many years now, could look completely new next year.
The thing is, though, I feel with Real Madrid, they always need a star that they build the team around. And I don't know who that is at the moment.
Well, I read somewhere that Varane and someone else were part of a possible negotiation for Mbappe.
Oh, yeah, possibly. No, possibly, and I think that they have to chase him. It's funny that
Yeah, but that's
Perez
that's
said-
going to be a big burden on Mbappe to come to a club like Real Madrid and have to instantly deliver,
100%.
or he's
Well,
going
I
to
mean,
be, or they're going to be on his ass. You know how it is there.
Yeah, it was a big burden on Hazard, and look how he's reacted.
He's
done well.
vanished. He's vanished. You can't see him.
To be honest, to be fair, he looked pretty happy after the game. All the cheering. That's for you, Darcy. That's for you. Darcy was very unhappy with Hazard, the way he was, hanging out and mucking around with the Chelsea players after the game. Not a good look, apparently, Darcy, eh?
Nah, but to be fair, if that happens overseas in Argentina, the person's he gets his car and the car will be destroyed.
Yeah.
For these families getting threats, like
Of course.
It's disrespect to the fans.
When you think about it, Hazard's actually their biggest transfer ever in terms of amount of money, and that's your result. Someone who's barely played, who's been injured, and then he comes in.
What I don't get,
celebrates.
what I don't get is, as a professional footballer, at least do it in the change rooms or in the tunnel, not in the camera
absolutely
sides,
agree.
not on the pitch. Like what's.
I absolutely agree with that. It leaves us a bad taste in the mouth, especially if you're the losing side,
Yeah.
because you feel as though the players you don't associate with them on that level. Like
That's right.
they don't care as much as you care, for example, or it doesn't hurt them as much as it hurts you, and that's why you start to become detached. On a personal level, when I watch the derby, Western Sydney and Sydney FC, the A League is a different case because there's no transfers here, so players move around clubs. It's just fucking recycling bin, right?
Yeah.
They're recycled through other clubs, and most of them would have played for other clubs, numerous times. But when it's a game of that magnitude where it's your arch rival and you absolutely hate them, you don't want to see them having a laugh and that pat on the back at the end of the game, especially when you've lost. I recall a couple of seasons back when the Wanderers got slapped 5-0 at ANZ, and they were sitting there shaking hands at the end of the game and having a laugh. Motherfucker, you just lost the derby 5-0.
That was Janirovic.
Get off the field.
100%.
Be disappointed. If you want to shake hands because they're your mates or whatever afterwards, by all means. And then the following day, they're on social media having fun and going out on day trips on boats and shit.
The game is over. The day's over. Right?
You're so detached from your fans, and that's where the problem is. Then the gap gets wider, and it's a problem. That's why fans love players that work hard, commit. They don't have to be the best. They don't have to be the classiest or the most skillful.
But are loyal to the club,
That's
that bleed
right.
for the club.
That's right.
I mean, going back to the Hazard example, like you're talking about fans' reaction. Forget about fans' reaction for a second. Someone like Sergio Ramos, he's going to be livid when he sees what's on the newspapers the next day. How the boys in the dressing room supposed to take that when your players cheering around, mucking around right after the game in the UCL semi-final. Now, and that's the thing, especially for like a club like Real Madrid, whose goal is to win it every season, and who have been accustomed to winning it in this last decade. Like, I'm sure Ramos would have. It's like Johnny, you said before. You would have liked to have seen Real Madrid try to win it without Cristiano Ronaldo. What would that have done for Ramos' legacy, for Benzema's legacy, right? You don't think it crossed Ramos' mind of him wanting to come back after these injuries, lead him through again past Chelsea, and then to beat Man City in the final?
Yeah.
And then right off into the sunset to
100%.
PSG for that Arab money. Like, at the end of the day,
Into the sunset.
but like at the end of the day, he would have honestly, part of him would have loved to have done that, and to say he got one without Ronaldo. That bit of ego, that bit of ambition, and then you see the guy mucking around, cheering around with his former players. It wouldn't be good for the dressing room.
Focusing on Chelsea now, Timo Werner's just shit. I don't want to sugarcoat it. And I was saying this to Ak before we started recording. What I don't get is why he keeps getting chance after chance. If it was a young player, he would have been axed already.
What'd they pay for him?
Too much.
There
you go.
about 50.
There's your answer.
If Tammy Abraham doesn't get as many chances as Timo Werner
Because he's
does.
black.
Black strikers matter.
There you go.
Wow.
He's the poor German in that squad. Fucking what's his name is doing great.
Havertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the chip the chip today when the Champions League semi-final was absolutely beautiful, and then just a little high hit the crossbar, and of course there was Timo.
I actually thought he was somehow going to fuck it up because
ya?
there's been that much pressure on his mistakes. Surely he's seen it. If we've seen it, he's seen it all over socials.
He's not a finisher. He's not.
But where do you play him then after
On the
this?
bench. Give someone else a go. Why does he get so many chances?
Honestly, the only redeeming quality he
White
ever
power.
had, even in Leipzig, was that he was his pace.
Fair enough. He
That's
gets
it.
pace, and if he's
He
missing,
was a fast player.
if he's
athletic
missing
guy.
but if he's missing so many chances, it's because he's getting himself in good positions, right?
Well, yeah.
So he's getting himself there. He just can't finish.
Well, maybe that's why he keeps getting chances, because he's doing that. And they paid enough money for him to think, fuck, we've got to make that investment.
Can you turn
Pay off.
can you turn someone who isn't a natural finisher into a finisher?
Arsene Wenger did it with Henri.
I think he can
Depends on the coach. But you
because
can.
because at that level and the way he's going, it's more psychological than anything else.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then
Like,
like,
he's not coming as a defender trying to convert him into a striker.
no,
He's already an attack-minded player.
100%. But then like, doesn't that answer your question, Johnny, of why he's getting so many chances? Is that eventually he works it out, he comes good, and then you're on your way.
But in your job back, there's only so many times you can fuck up before you get fired.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, if you believe that you can turn someone like that into a finisher with the right coaching, with the right mentorship,
Maybe that's why they're persevering with him.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Maybe kidnap one of his kids every time he misses a goal or something. I don't know. Now,
Dickhead.
big call now. But if you were to hand the Ballon d'Or right now for 2021,
oh
right,
wow,
I have two names in mind.
I've got a name too.
One is Messi because he's been killing it.
I've got another name that's a bit left field.
But the one that stands out for me is Kante.
You just took it out of my mouth, 100%.
Kante's been a machine. We don't talk about him the same way we talk about the strikers or the goal scorers or Lewandowski's of the world.
yeah, I agree.
Because he's not as flashy, but he's so important in that role. He's the engine of
100%,
Chelsea.
100%. I wanted to mention him, and that was going to be my pick. And actually, my question was going to be, when was the last time a non-attacking player won the Ballon d'Or?
Cannavaro?
Yeah, 2006.
That long ago, 15 years.
Yep.
15 years, and he was a defender.
Because then you had Kaká, Modric,
So
and
you're
then-
telling me,
Yeah.
are you telling me there's no other midfielder over the last 15 years that deserves to get that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of years where everyone would have liked to have seen someone like Iniesta win it.
Neuer.
2010, Neuer. So yeah, you're right, Fatty. Absolutely. I was thinking Kante as well. As soon as you said you had two names, I thought Kante. But I thought the other one would have been that you would have said would have been De Bruyne.
Look, De Bruyne's been playing a false nine the last couple of games.
Yeah.
So he's been doing all right, but not to the level where he was before, where we used to seeing him.
But you know what? I think De Bruyne has taken on a different role now. He's taken more of a captain leadership role at Man City,
Yeah.
and that's what they're trying to get out of him, and it seems to be working. So maybe he had more freedom when he wasn't captain, when they had company and whatever leading the line. Now with him there, he's taken on a slightly different role, but I think he's still excelled.
He looks like Prince Harry. I was saying the other day.
But he's still a gun. The guy's a gun. He can create
Yeah.
something out of nothing. So
And he
gotta give
played
him that.
fantastic yesterday.
He's had a non-attacking player. Has a defensive midfielder has ever won the Ballon d'Or?
No, I mean Nedved doesn't really count as a defensive
No.
mid.
No, not at all. No.
Because
Defensive
I think
midfielder.
I love that role, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the most underrated role. If you have
Yeah.
a good defensive mid, I think every championship winning team needs a good defensive mid.
Yeah, because it allows the team to go forward, and there's more freedom there to be able to do things. When there's a reliance on a player that can break up the play, win that possession back to you, and then start again, which is what he is.
Well, he's more than that as well. I mean, he leads that press.
Yeah, but he pushes forward, and he'll create opportunities.
He converts the possession back into Chelsea possession. Like, the thing that was most struck to me against Real Madrid was how much that midfield bossed Real Madrid's midfield, and this is the midfield three of Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric that for years have probably been the best three midfield since Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets.
Yeah.
And he completely bossed them. Bossed them around. That whole midfield three was just doing fantastic for Chelsea. And a point I made to you guys earlier was that Modric and Kroos were rested last weekend, so they should have been fairly rested, fairly well. I know it's been at the end of a long season, but I was quite surprised how dominant they looked. To answer your question, did Mateus ever win a Ballon d'Or?
Lothar Matthäus?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Lothar Matthäus won, then I think he'd be the closest that you would provide. But after that, possibly not.
No.
I think he's the closest to winning.
I was reading, apparently, I don't know how true, if this is a legitimate quote, but I read, because people kept referring to Kante in the Makalele role, and that Makalele came out and said it's not the Makalele role anymore, it's the Kante role.
But the thing is,
They're
they're
passing
not.
on that baton to him.
But the thing is, they're not like for like comparisons.
What do you mean? They're short and black.
I don't fucking know what to say with you.
But they're really not like for like in the position they play. Makalele stepped back and he waited for the attack to come to him. He would attack the ball and then he would give it away straight away. Kante's a bit more well-rounded, a bit more of a complete player. He does provide a little bit more in attack. He's able
Why
to.
shitting on
push
Makalele? He
forward.
used to be at Real Madrid. What's wrong with you?
I'm not saying nothing about Makalele. I love Makalele. I'm just saying that there's the Makalele role and Kante role, two different roles.
Yeah, speaking of Kante, they were talking about, apparently last season a few clubs tried to sign him, and
Oh yeah.
apparently his clause is only 50 million or something, so it's not that much in today's market.
Yeah.
But Chelsea said absolutely not happening.
No, it'll be a big loss. And I think we're talking about his game evolving into more of a pressing and attacking. I think having Jorginho there allows him to sort of push forward a bit more.
I suppose so, eh? Jorginho has done his main attribute is to pass the ball. He's like a regista from Napoli. He was able to just move the ball around like an Andrea Pirlo type. So I think that would probably help Kante with keeping the side in possession, keeping the midfield ticking over. Who's the other third player in that midfield role now?
Pulisic came off the bench. I can't remember they played this morning. Now, the other semi-final was obviously PSG and Man City.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a funny one. Man City played really, really well, and you could see PSG just didn't have the class, didn't have the ability. A lot of the players there, in my opinion, disappointed. I thought Neymar disappointed. Not for lack of trying, but just couldn't get anything going. And unfortunately, we saw Kylian Mbappe pull out a bit of a minor injury, right?
Yeah, I was surprised to see him on the grandstand, so I wasn't aware.
For me, PSG are pretenders.
Yeah.
And they always have been. Even with all the money and all the flair that they have, they're good enough to walk Liga, which says a lot about the fucking French league.
Not really right now.
They're not first, they're second.
Because now they were focusing on the Champions League. But I feel like they're flashy, yes, but when it comes to a well-drilled team, they're not good enough to overcome that. They're not good enough. They've got individual brilliance. They're not a good team.
So can I ask you, now looking at the end of the season, Mbappe looks like he's going to have one season left on his contract. If you're Mbappe, are you looking for the exit now?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't sign unless it depends on the player. If it's ambition, I wouldn't sign at PSG. If it's money, different story. You'll get it at PSG.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it anywhere else. I mean, aside from Man City.
I get it.
Look, apart from that,
what's he going to do? Win the league again?
How much faith does he have in Neymar that
Neymar's a mercenary. He'll go where the money is. If Neymar really was ambitious, he would have possibly stayed at Barcelona or went elsewhere. Not went to PSG.
Neymar and Aguero are both linked to
because you win the French league. If you're there for 5 years, you probably win the French league 3 times.
Neymar's linked back to Barca.
Too late. Too late. What's he going to do?
So is Aguero.
That'd be a really interesting position.
Yeah.
I think he'll do really well there.
I feel like they'll be trying to recreate that MSN front three again, but you got to understand everyone's at the end of their careers now. Messi's coming towards the end. I know he's still a freak, but
No, I agree.
he's going to come to an end. Neymar, I don't feel he's the same player that he was previously at Barcelona. Aguero, amazing striker, one of the best strikers ever. I don't know if he'll be able to replicate that at Barcelona.
Honestly, I think he'll do well there if he went, but at the same time I agree. I don't think that's a smart move. That's a very short-term thinking move.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if Messi's going to stay next season, he's going to stay beyond June or July, then I think you let Messi be Messi, but you have to build the side through other players. And for me right now, I would build the side around Frankie de Jong and Ansu Fati.
Fati's too young though.
Mate, he's
They're
not
both
that
young.
young anymore, and it's the fact of the matter is for me, I look at it and go, if you have belief in a player, you got to let him go. Let him try. He'll sink or swim, and then at least you'll know.
Big club to be trying.
The whole squad's gone down.
Yeah.
The Barcelona squad.
it's not the
You
same.
looked at the squad and it's like, who's coming off the bench? Who's that? And
Yeah.
That shouldn't be Barcelona.
That's why I said since the Liverpool Madrid Champions League fiascos, I feel like Barcelona's not the same.
No, absolutely. And you could see Real Madrid starting to hit that curve
it's that
as well.
end of that generation.
Absolutely. I honestly believe that it's imperative for them to get Mbappe in this summer. I think that it's their best chance. And I think that with that, you are able to reset your timeline. You can now... I think it's important, if you have a player, like you said before, Fatty, to build around, you bring Mbappe in, and then you can say, all right, well, we got that left wing position, or that striker position, whichever he plays, we got to lock down. Now, how do we get the ball to him? And then it becomes clearer on who next to sign, who next to keep. Because right now, who would you keep? Looking at Real Madrid, goalkeeper to striker, you keep Courtois, no questions, obviously. But then right now, like Varane, Ramos looks like he's on his way out. Who would you keep? Valverde, I think, and Casemiro. After that, they can't score, they couldn't defend, and they couldn't bust the midfield.
Sorry, going back to the Ballon d'Or argument, I want
Okay.
to make Fatty a little bit angry now.
Oh, is he?
So you're asking about which defensive player last won it. The one that came closest to was Van Dijk in 2019.
Didn't deserve it.
What?
Came second.
Didn't deserve shit.
Yeah, as a defender,
Second
right?
behind Messi.
Fuck off, Alex.
Yeah, that's
Muscat.
right.
This one's for you. I know he listens. He can fuck off. Van Dijk, my ass. Didn't deserve shit.
Well,
So-
mate, Van Dijk's been injured this season, and
Good,
look
'cause
what
he's shit.
happened to Liverpool, mate.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, of course, because they're one-man team, eh?
That's
Just saying,
bullshit.
very important.
Yeah, that's why they're fucking 7th.
So Man City, Chelsea final predictions.
Oh, I think it's Man City's to win. I honestly think that they're in form. They got the depth. They're playing really well, and they got the better coach, in my opinion.
I believe it'll be Man City. It'll be closer than people think, but I believe Man City will just peep Chelsea to it. It's written for Guardiola. I think this is Guardiola's swan song. He wins the Champions League with Man City, he's gone.
Really, where would he go though? Like,
What's he going to do after this?
is he going to take a break and then go
He's
somewhere
still,
Might
else?
he's
take a
still
break.
building that team though. You think that?
I don't think he'll... but what has he got to achieve after that? He's been there for how many years now?
Honestly, though,
How many is
I
at Man
could see
City?
you're right in the sense that I could see that he does have one place left that he's not really done much in, which is Italy.
That's right.
So I could see him trying to go somewhere there, Juventus.
But he won't go straight away.
No, not necessarily.
He'll take some time off and whatever. Which is
Learn the Italian language like he did in
what
Germany.
he always does. But
Yeah.
how long has he been at Man City? 10 years now?
No.
8
10.
years? What?
6,
No.
7?
Less?
Look it up.
About 5, 6?
Yeah. And he was Bayern Munich, what, 14, 15?
I don't remember.
But either way, like, I honestly think that it's his probably time that once he leaves England, you know, try Italy. He would have had a La
But
Liga title, Bundesliga title, Premier League
if you win
title.
the Champions League
Yeah.
with Man City,
Yep.
you've delivered on that promise.
Since
Mhm.
2016.
26.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 years. You've delivered the Premier League title. You've delivered Champions League.
Yep.
This could be their most successful season. They got the FA Cup still.
Mhm.
Sorry, was the FA Cup they're out of? The Carabao Cup, whatever the
They
fuck
won
they
the Carabao Cup. League
Okay,
Cup.
so they could have a treble of trophies.
Nah,
this
don't
year.
count as a treble.
Whatever.
Anyway,
okay.
but yeah.
Champions League and Premier League. Premier League's sewn up now. Unless they lose every single game and Man United win every single game, they're not going to lose the league.
No,
The
that's
last
right.
one. So the league's done. Champions League, they've got probably the best chance they've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
They've never made the final, and I'm certain that he's not going to make the mistakes that they've made previously in the quarterfinals and whenever they've gone out. He'll win it. What's he going to do then? Ruin his legacy by trying to stay on and fail?
Winning a
at
double?
It won't happen. It won't happen. I have a feeling he'll call it.
Look, I agree in regards to... I think Man City, on paper, should win it. They
Yep.
have a better team, better game style than Chelsea. But I think, like Fatty said, I think it might be closer than we think.
Yeah,
Especially after the Real Madrid 2 legs, Chelsea
Yeah.
did surprise. So,
and Chelsea will go in with no pressure, being the underdog.
yeah.
The pressure's all on Man City to win it. Everyone thinks it's Man City's to lose. That's when it becomes dangerous.
I mean, they played recently in the FA Cup semi-final and Chelsea went through, so... Who knows? I don't know. Were you surprised by the way the PSG Man City scoreline was?
I was somewhat surprised that I thought I would see a bit more, like a bit more effort and a bit more teeth from PSG. I thought they were going to really try a lot harder to get there. I think they were, like Fatty said, I think they're just pretenders. I don't think they have that championship pedigree where that when the going gets tough, they really try to dig in.
Yeah.
I think Neymar's not a real leader. Not in the same way of some of the fabled leaders of past. I don't think he really was able to galvanise the players and try to bring the morale up, because I think they were still in it, and I think they could have, but they just kind of let it slip away.
I think Akram's just angry because he's starting to admit that the Premier League is the best league in the world. An all English final
Yeah.
in Europa. It's been played as we record tomorrow morning. Maybe an all English final in there as well. That's your worst nightmare.
It's happened before.
Mate, it's happened
teams.
before for Premier League. It's happened before for Spanish League. It's happened before the Italian League.
Italian, yeah.
For me, it comes down to whether you like that
Currently,
nice, classy, technical style of football, or you like the ping pong style that Premier League likes, which is fine. It's all
That's old style. I used to think the same thing, but now it's not there
same,
anymore.
Mate, come on.
You're calling
You can't call Man
Guardiola's.
City's style.
You calling
Oh,
Guardiola's
alright,
ping pong
so
style.
you're literally using the one club with all their money to sign Guardiola.
I wouldn't call Arsenal style ping pong style. I wouldn't call Chelsea's a lot of the time ping pong style.
No, Chelsea's style is to sit back and make their team fall asleep.
That's different to ping pong style, isn't it? So your argument was valid 20 years ago.
No, it's still
What are you talking about?
roots
All
in
the
it.
money. So you're saying Real Madrid doesn't have money.
I'm not saying that Real Madrid don't have money. I'm saying that Real Madrid have been able to develop their own style of football, their own technique, through their own history. And yes,
So
they
did
have
Man
money.
City. But so did Man City now.
No,
Guardiola-
you borrowed a Spanish Barcelona built coach. Then you've signed your Belgium. You've signed your Spaniard. from
100%.
the-
It's international, but that's why the style of football has changed in England. Not because of the English footballers or the English style. It's because of the international players and coaches coming in and implementing something different.
I disagree. I still think that there's a frenetic pace there. I still think that ping pong. I'm not saying long ball, because there is a difference to what I mean. I just mean ping pong. When I say that, it's I just think the pace is much higher, and I think that there is a lot less focus on tactics and managing the game.
Akram just wants to see the goal coming from
So
2 minutes
would
ago.
you call?
10 minutes,
I
yeah.
don't want to be surprised by goals.
Like one of the things I hate about highlights is that half the time highlights just see the guy strike the ball. Like you don't want to see it 5 minutes before.
So would you call Italian style boring and defensive?
No, I love the Italian style. I think don't you know this about me?
That speaks for itself. You've got the answer there, Johnny. I don't know why you're arguing with him.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, are we not allowed our own opinions anymore?
No.
We just. Fair enough. Sorry.
So in this time as well, Ajax won the Dutch league.
Yeah, I feel like we were discussing this off air. I feel like Ajax recently, or the Dutch league, the Eredivisie, has been very lopsided. Not how it used to be in the early 2000s, where PSV and Feyenoord had a good crack at the league as well, and it was alternating. I don't know how many times recently now in a row that Ajax has won it, but it just feels like they've got
No,
bit of a
you're right.
dominance.
They are the Suns a pull away, mate. You're absolutely right.
So there's a bit of a gap there. It was noticeable, when they made the Champions League final,
Exactly, yeah.
sorry.
They've been brimming with talent. Yeah, no.
semi-final, not
Yeah,
final.
it's semi-final, yeah. But they've been brimming with talent. They've been able to figure it out.
Yeah, so if you have a look, if you're starting from early 2000s, you've got PSV Ajax, it's been back and forth. FC Twente surprised everyone one season, 2010. But then after that, it's pretty much been, in the last 11 years, Ajax have won it 8 times. So,
Yeah. The Dutch was one of the leagues that got suspended for COVID.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. Last season they were like the first.
Yeah.
That and what
yeah,
Liga
correct,
Earn,
that's right.
Liga Earn, and
Yeah,
Eredivisie just completely cancelled their seasons.
Speaking of monopolies, Juve's one's finished.
Yeah, first time in 10 years we have a new champion of Italy, Inter Milan.
Yeah, but that's a breath of fresh air, to be honest. It was getting boring with Juventus every year. And frankly, I have a soft spot for Inter. I always have.
So do I.
Since Samuel Eto'o days, and Gabriel Milito and Hernan Crespo.
But even before that, for me, they had traditionally a lot of Argentinians in the squad.
Yeah,
Kili
Zanetti.
Gonzalez, Zanetti, Veron, Cambiaso.
Oh, I loved
You
Cambiaso at
mentioned
Inter.
Milito, Walter Samuel.
Would you say Cambiaso was a defensive
Yes.
midfielder?
Absolutely.
But he still got forward.
A little, but he
Yeah, he still
definitely
got
much
forward a
was.
little
He
bit.
still played a defensive role.
And I remember because he was actually he played for Real Madrid. He came to that era then,
And
and
he played
he
for Leicester City for a bit, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
but he left Real Madrid as like one of those throwaway players that Real Madrid tend to do. Got rid of Makaleli, but then also got rid of Cambiaso. A couple of years later, Cambiaso is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world.
Same as Thomas Gravison. He fucking ruined him.
You like bringing him up because you kind of look like him, don't you, mate? That's why you like bringing him up.
Gravison's fucking whiter than snow. I definitely don't look like Gravison.
I'm talking about in terms of hairstyle, mate.
Oh, you could say that about Makalele.
True, and I would.
So 9 years in a row that Juve dominated the league.
9.
That's
Yeah.
it. Last time anyone won the league apart from them was 2011. That was 10 years ago.
Which was
Wow.
Inter?
Milan, AC Milan.
I was AC Milan.
Before that, Inter had won it 5 years in a row.
9-10.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, though. Unbelievable.
So last time Inter won the league was the treble winning season with
With
Mourinho.
Mourinho, yeah.
Wow. That long ago.
Yeah.
And since then, Mourinho's been to 17 clubs.
and counting.
And made $350 million on getting sacked.
And counting.
Absolutely, and I think, like, honestly, I think it's really interesting that the 9-year dominance by Juventus, I think, was only ended. Do you think? Tell me if I'm wrong, because they made the wrong hire with Andrea Pirlo.
Do you think that was a long-term choice
Mate,
or decision?
honestly,
I don't know.
I think their decisions are not being based on long term. I think they're thinking about short term only.
I also don't think that their focus was on Serie A. I think they were more focused on getting that Champions League with Cristiano.
Yeah,
They obviously wanted that. They haven't been.
They were willing to sacrifice.
They haven't been competitive in Europe for. When I say competitive, as in being in the top 4 for a while. Having a real tilt at the Champions League. I don't know. Maybe they felt like they could sacrifice, nine
after 9,
gold
yeah,
Scudettos
absolutely.
and try and go for a Champions League. And what better time to do it than Cristiano at, when he comes in, Cristiano's at his peak. You've got to try and do it with him. Because if you don't,
do you think he'll stay next season?
Ronaldo, where else would he go? He's done it everywhere else. He's not going to go back to Premier League.
Rumours are talking about Man United.
I don't think he'll go back to Man United.
I don't think so either. But I actually think he wants to leave. Like, I think he's unhappy. But at the same time, who will take him? Sometimes you might just have to suck it up and play another season.
I think Cristiano's more of a player who would want to leave every club that he's at the peak. So he's achieved the highest thing there. He's the top goal scorer. He's won every accolade there. He sets records at that club, and then he leaves. He's not going to go back, because then it's going to look shit on him. I feel he's just that kind of, I wouldn't say a narcissist, but he's the kind of player that would not want to go and tarnish that. Like, he did it at Man United. He's got amazing records and feats at United. He's got that at Real Madrid. He's got it at Juventus now. Where's he going to go? Back to Premier League?
But he hasn't even been top scorer of Serie A one season. He's been there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I think...
Even Quagliarella scored more goals than him.
His record in the Champions League speaks for itself.
Well, I'm not questioning him as a player and a striker. I actually read today, to put some perspective into him as well, he's the same age as Wayne Rooney. And we think about Wayne Rooney dying down his career in Derby and wherever else. And now...
I don't see Ronaldo
then we speak
that.
Cristiano as like...
No.
Still being at his peak.
I don't see Ronaldo going back to a lowly club just to finish off. I think he'll finish at his peak, and he'll finish at the epitome of his
But
career.
he can, because he's such a professional and his body is in such a good shape, such an athlete, that physically he's allowed to do so.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not. But I'm saying when it comes time to hang up the boots, he's not going to go back to Sporting Lisbon and just fucking kick the ball around for a season.
You don't think MLS at all would be interested in it at all?
The
money,
they'll
marketing
be
rights?
interested in him, but I don't know if he'll be interested.
I don't know.
Unless he's 41, I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, unless he goes there, tears it up for a season, gets stupid money, just as another thing, as an endorsement sort of thing. But I feel like he's a player that's more concerned about his career and leaving a legacy and having records and being spoken about in the next 20 years.
Sure. Look, regardless of, like, let's say,
I don't see him
Cristiano,
fading away.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He'll keep going, and then he'll just stop.
Yeah, and he'll be like, that's it.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Look. Regardless of whether he stays on or not, I think one thing Juventus really need to figure out is that that midfield and attacking phase of the play. Honestly, I think they need to think about moving Paulo Dybala.
Dybala's been... I've watched a little bit. He doesn't really excite me. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's a player that's got a lot of promise. I don't understand. I don't get
What
it.
have I been saying for ages?
You don't like Paulo Dybala?
He's overrated.
Is he in the wrong league? Does he need to go somewhere else?
Is it the wrong sport?
Does the Spanish league suit him a
Wrong
little bit
sport,
more?
maybe, I don't know.
Like, does the Spanish league suit him? Maybe.
I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him to say this is the style of player.
If you haven't
he
seen
is.
enough of him, who will?
Honestly, I
His dad,
I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
right.
Cousin. Fucking.
I think you're right. I think Spanish League might suit him. It's not that I think Serie A doesn't suit him. I just think he's a bit of a weird player. You need to really build the team around him. You can't have a guy like a Cristiano Ronaldo who's going to take so much attention away.
Yeah, but you mentioned this a few podcasts back. He said some shit along the lines of, "I can't play with Messi because we're too similar." Or something.
Yeah.
Come on, and we all laughed at that. Like, I think that's ridiculous. I think that's that in itself is him doubting his own ability or whatever.
Yeah.
It's obviously fucking with his head.
But when you give him the number 10 jersey for Juventus, obviously you're putting a responsibility on him.
Oh yeah, they absolutely. I mean, like,
What's his reason that he's with Cristiano, that he's outshining him?
No, I don't
well,
think it's
they gave him the number 10 before Cristiano Ronaldo got there.
Ronaldo was never going to take a 10 anyway because it's not.
No,
his fault.
100%. But the point is, before Ronaldo got there, they had seen him as the next big player, the player to take on from Del Piero.
Yeah.
And while he's technically very gifted and he's a talented guy, it's not resulting in enough assists, enough of goals, and enough decisive performances for the last few years now, and especially since Ronaldo's got there. Because look, at the same time, to be fair, for the last few years, the Juventus have chopped and changed their managers, each one with different philosophies. You went from Allegri, who is a very defensive-oriented, pragmatic coach, like similar to Kante, to Maurizio Sarri, who is very progressive coach, attacking coach, very much in the style of Guardiola. And now you've gone back to Andrea Pirlo, which is kind of like a rookie coach feeling out his way. So that's probably hurt his role and his production as well.
So we said that Juventus won 9 in a row.
Yep.
The first from those 9, so back in 2011-12, Del Piero was still with them before he came to Sydney FC.
Wow.
That long ago.
So the first title they won in this run was with Del Piero
That's
before
right.
he
He
went
did
to
come
Sydney
to
FC.
Sydney FC that 2012 season.
Yeah.
The inception of the Wanderers, 12-13.
So let me ask you this: how does this Inter squad compare to the 2010 treble winning squad or the early 2000s?
No, I don't think it's the same. Like, if the two squads played each other now, both at their peak, the 2010 squad would beat them.
Why are you
Wait
so
a second,
confident?
yeah,
Why are you so confident?
Different mentally. I feel like there were a lot more established players, bigger names, and Mourinho at the time was at his peak as a manager.
I agree that Mourinho was at his peak, but I don't think Conte at his peak is very far behind Mourinho. Like, Conte was the one who started Juventus on their streak of Scudetto. So I do see Conte as a top coach, and right now he's very happy, really managing at his best. You do have Lukaku, and you do have Lautaro Martinez, very talented player up
Yeah, but
there.
you also got fucking Ashley Young. So
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, they play like a 3-5-2 with Ashley Young on the left.
Give me 2010 Inter Milan over current Inter Milan. Different team here. You've just brought it up. Okay, so look at your back.
So that's what, because you said it's more experience. I'm looking at the spot position by position to see who.
Okay.
Goalkeeper Julio Cesar. We know how you feel about Brazilian goalkeepers.
Yeah,
so.
I think they're shit.
Handanovic is better, mate.
Okay, fair enough.
So, are you going with the current?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you know the current lineup off by heart? Should I look it up?
Handanovic, De Vrij.
Do you know it? Or like,
Yeah, I do. Fuck you, I do.
All right, I'm just asking. Jeez.
But there's also variations to that, right? They had the fucking good depth.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Left back Zanetti.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, because
Tell me
Inter play a 3-5-2. You have
don't
Ashley.
make up shit. Zanetti's not good enough to be.
Listen. I was gonna say, because they play
Fucking this
3-5-2, their left wing back right now, their left mid is Ashley Young. So yeah,
Ashley Young over Zanetti. Yeah. Let's take that. Fuck.
Centre backs are Walter Samuel and Lucio.
Come on, bro.
true. Walter Samuel and Lucio. Right now you got De Vrij, Bastoni, and Skriniar.
Okay.
Skriniar is a boss player. I know what you're saying about Samuel and Lucio, but 2010. Look, honestly, I never rated the two of them that highly.
But they're world class.
We're talking
centre
about
backs.
experienced leaders, a team that can get shit
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Different
Yeah.
team, man.
And right back you had Maicon.
Mike on right back. Brazilian backs are fucking.
Maicon was a gun, and he was at his peak.
Yeah.
Right now, Inter have that right midfielder is Hakimi, who is also a gun.
Yeah.
Same as Mycon, bro. Come on, you're talking about.
Look,
a
I'm
fucking-
not. I'm not actually like. All I'm
Right.
saying is that the two teams are not as far apart as Fatty's
Yes,
saying.
All right, centre mids, Stankovic and Cambiaso.
Come on, bro. Dan Stankovic.
Cambiaso is world class. I never rated Stankovic.
So
Yeah, right, Dan
who are they
Stankovic.
competing against?
Nicola Barella.
Who the
you're
fuck's that?
Isn't it
Man, just
Barilla?
because you don't fucking know anything about
Pasta?
Regent's Park, Berala.
No, isn't it a pasta? Barilla? What is it?
Barilla,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's fine. Just because you guys don't follow Serie A doesn't mean that these players aren't talented,
and who
mate.
else? And who else?
They have they have Christian Eriksen there as well. He's doing pretty good.
Rubbish. Don't rate
Ericsson or Stankovic?
Stankovic, bro, all day.
I don't think it's that close. I don't think it's that far apart between Stankovic and Ericsson.
Okay. What about Cambiaso and the Pasta Boy?
Nah, Cambiaso any day.
Okay.
And they have also Brozovic.
All right, let's look at your forwards now.
So you
Come on,
Eto, Schneider, Pandev, and Milito.
bro, please.
So well, look, okay. Pandev, I always had a soft spot for, but honestly, he's not that talented of a player. Let's be.
You know
settle down
what?
there a bit.
I'm going to argue with you here. Milito had a good season, killed it in the final,
And that was
but you put Lukaku
was the others?
you put Lukaku and Martinez
Yeah.
as nines. You could argue either way.
yeah.
Okay.
Come on, man. Like,
But
you
Eto
know.
was at his prime then. You're talking
No,
about
he wasn't. Not really.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, man. Look, Eto was playing fantastic, but he
When
wasn't
did-
playing
when did
like
Eto-
Barcelona's Eto.
When did Eto win African Player of the Year? Look it up.
Yeah, but you can win for African Player of the Year tomorrow.
Ah,
yeah.
please, bro.
Look, the point is like all I'm saying is Eto wasn't like scoring, off the charts compared to the Barcelona days.
When was Barcelona days? A couple of years before that.
It was just because it was a couple of years before that doesn't mean it was the
He went
same.
to shit in the year.
Sometimes it happens. Look at Hazard.
Yeah, but look at Bale. That's
Yeah, look at Bale.
sounds more like a Real Madrid thing than a footballer thing.
I don't know. 2010 Inter Milan for me.
And Schneider was the creative player. He's
Yeah.
a creative player now.
Schneider was your number 10.
Probably Christian Eriksen.
Okay,
You
Schneider.
just said, but you,
Schneider.
said,
Yeah, Schneider.
you compared Stankovic and Ericsson, but now you're saying it's
Mate, I
Schneider.
told you because they
Does
play
Eriksen
different
take two
formation.
players?
Dude, it's
Is
a
he that
really
good? He takes over two players.
Dude, it's a 5-3-2. It's a
Please,
different formation.
bro.
Do you understand? that there's
Eto
different
won
players?
African Player of the Year in 2010.
Shut the fuck up.
Then that's it. Done. African Player of the Year.
Yeah, but look who was around him at the time. Asamoah Gyan, Didier Drogba, Yaya Toure. Come on, bro.
Marco Lessian.
Yeah, you're not talking about shit players.
I'm not. All right, fair
You're talking
enough.
about players that are the
like
top
I,
of the
like I
leagues.
said to you, look, at the end of the day,
Asamoah Gyan, 2010 World Cup, when he fucking carried Ghana, should have taken him to the semi-final if it wasn't for Suarez's handball.
No, it wasn't for the penalty miss.
The penalty miss.
honestly, for me, it's
They should
I
have
just
been,
don't
been
think
the
it's
first
as,
African team in a World Cup semi-final. He carried that team on his own.
I just don't think it's as far apart as you're suggesting. I think Kante is playing, going to this team playing
Look,
on all
I don't
cylinders.
agree.
Fatty brought a good point. Like position by position, I think 2010 is stronger.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, with Eto and Milito up front. Now, with obviously the three at the back is in fashion right now.
Yeah.
How did we
Yeah.
get to this fucking discussion?
What three at the back is in fashion right now.
Yep.
Yeah. But the big argument has always been: can two nines play together?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Lukaku and Martinez have proved that they can.
Yeah, but Martinez is.
Don't tell me Martinez is not a 9 because he's a 9. Naturally, he's a 9. He's a tank. He's alright. He needs to be a bit more flexible now because Lukaku's next to him.
Dude, he's a lot
But
more
the-
tactical than that. He helps link up the player a little bit more. I'm not saying he's like not a 9 or he lacks the ability to play as a 9. All I'm saying is he's more than that, and he's not like Lukaku doesn't have a lot of technique. He doesn't have a lot of vision or passing. He's a truck. He gets the ball and just barrels forward. Martinez helps link the play,
Is that
and
because he's black? He called him a truck. He just barrels forward.
How does that have to do with anything?
Because you're saying he's a big monster.
Wow. Okay, Fatty. Whatever you hear, mate. The point is that Lautaro Martinez is more than that. In fact, and we've talked about it before. Barcelona have been after Martinez for ages, and I think it's because I don't think there's a replacement for Suarez out there except Martinez.
Suarez is a 9.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but I said he's more than that. It's not that he's not a 9. It's not that he can't play it. He's more than that. He offers more than just your standard 9.
In Argentina for the national team, he's a sole 9.
Yeah, he can play the single striker, which is why he could replace Suarez for Barcelona. I actually really think that they've made a mistake when they missed out on him a season or two ago. I think that he has helped Lukaku, and Lukaku has scored more goals than Martinez this year.
Yes, he has.
And Martinez has definitely racked up a lot more assists than Lukaku. He's much more instrumental in the passing game, in terms of vision, in terms of chance creation.
Surprising for me that two nines can work so well. Almost as surprising as Kante growing hair again.
That was a miracle. A miracle made in Turkey.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking transplant. See the photos of him before?
Yeah, it's
When he
unbelievable.
fucking lost his hair. He looks like a completely different player.
The miracle of
He
Istanbul.
looks like, you know who he looks like without hair? He looks like fucking Baresi.
Yeah.
Looks very similar to Baresi.
So 2010 Inter Milan wins.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm happy to go with them. I just think Fatty's overrating them and underrating Inter, the current Inter
So you're
team.
agreeing or not agreeing?
I said I'm
You're
agreeing.
agreeing conditionally.
Yeah, thank you.
Fucking hell.
I mean, we can talk about, speaking of Mourinho, we can talk about him and Roma as well, but I think like that's a whole different topic. I think
Yeah.
Mourinho and himself is an episode with everything he's been through, with the Tottenham,
Mate.
the way he left, with the Roma. Were you surprised by the Roma?
I was very surprised because I thought, like, after this Tottenham debacle, to be honest, I honestly thought he was going to take some time off, look at the lay of the land, figure out where he best fit in.
He doesn't. But every single sacking, he hasn't been off.
He
more
likes
than a
to
couple of
work.
months.
He's a worker.
Yeah, but it's not that. And he'll fucking put in some crazy clause, get sacked after 2 years, make fucking £30 million, and be on his way again.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you guys like the signing for Roma?
Who was that Roma anyway?
What do you mean?
Before him.
Oh, I'm not sure, mate.
I don't even know.
But apparently De Rossi is going to be his assistant.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Mm.
Oh, Daniele De Rossi. Interesting.
He just recovered from COVID.
So anyway, but like, look, I really like the signing for Roma. I think that he's definitely a coach that can bring the best out of those players and create that a lot more competitiveness for Serie A. After Inter's broken that Juventus streak, do you see it going more competitive, or will Juventus bounce right
I hope
back?
so.
I
I hope so.
I think Mourinho will bring a little bit of interest to Serie A.
Yep.
Because people like that
Mourinho,
controversy,
yep. And
his
his
character,
one-liners, yeah, he's-
whatever, and he'll be able to make some important signings for Roma purely because of his name.
It'd be good if, like we predicted today, if Guardiola goes to Serie A as well, then the whole profile of Serie A starts growing
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And compete
It
with
would
the
be
Premier
awesome.
League, and you make. And that's what we like, not a Super League.
But you know what? Thinking about the Super League since our last podcast, honestly, and they've looked at the solution as UEFA's funded more money into Champions League, right? We got to get the leagues more money, man. Like, seriously, you're never going to have La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga doing what they have done in the past without more money being funneled to these national leagues. Like, that's the answer.
Do you think everyone should get the same amount of money?
It's not, I don't know if it's... I know where you're going there, but I know where you're going
Let's
there.
ask the question.
No. I'm just saying that I think like you're never going to get rid of the idea of the Super League unless you get more money funneled into the domestic league.
He's got a Fidel Castro vibe to him today.
Fair enough.
All right. I know. Look, I'm gonna get messages and abuse about. I was in retro. You guys aren't talking retro. What do we tell those people, Fatty?
To get fucked.
Thank you.
David Mersey, this one's for you.
Thank you.
We'll get back to the retro topics, but man,
I mean, it's good. It's good comparing current champions to previous champions.
Yeah.
That's to me. That's retro enough.
Like we are in the the end of the season where the most
Yeah.
interesting stuff happens.
Yeah.
You've got to talk about Champions League and all that.
Yeah. To finish off, Fatty's hot tips are back.
Oh wow, are they? I've been waiting
they're
so
back
long
to
for him.
You know what it was?
What's that?
He had a bad week on the Premier League a few weeks ago
Oh.
with his tips. He went into
Got a
hiding.
little scared. Yeah,
Got one
no,
out
I
of 3.
understand.
He went into
I
hiding.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got a few abusive messages. He couldn't defend himself.
My sympathy for you, Fatty. My sympathy for you.
So we're back. We're back, guys.
Oh, this is
Start
exciting
recording
now.
now.
Look at this.
So for these people who care about the tips,
So if you haven't watched the episode up to now, but you're tuning in now, get ready to win some money.
yeah.
So we've got midweek Premier League coming up.
Yes.
So we've got Man United, Leicester.
Yeah, so this is for people who usually complain that the episode doesn't come out in time for them to actually put these bets on.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip a few games, and these are going to be the games that are on, is it Tuesday morning?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
What do you?
Wednesday morning.
Oh,
our time.
Fulham and Burnley will be Tuesday morning.
Well, you'd have the episodes out before then.
Yeah.
You better.
Fulham in a relegation battle They're about 8 or 9 points from safety.
9.
9 points, and surprisingly, it's Burnley who's 2 spots above them. So, traditionally it will be called what is known as a 6-pointer, because when you beat teams around you, it's a massive 3 points,
Yep.
especially in a relegation battle. I think they're too far to be saved, Fulham. They've got really nothing to play for. At the same time, Burnley don't want to lose and make it uncomfortable for themselves, and they're paying crazy money. Fulham have been terrible this year. Burnley double chance, pretty good bet, is $1.61.
$1.61 we're going with.
Yeah,
That's the first leg.
Yeah, they're paying $3 something to win.
Give me the second leg.
Second leg is a big game actually. Man United Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
That's a top 4 battle. That's again a 6-pointer, because these two teams are very, very close on the table. There's only a couple of points separating them. Man United have a very, very congested schedule between Europa, and they've still got that Liverpool catch-up game that they've got to play as well. I think they're playing 4 or 5 games in the space of.
So Wednesday
10
morning
days.
Australian time, they're playing Man United Leicester, and then Friday
got a game before that anyway.
morning the Man United Liverpool. So it's a big.
Yeah, they've got a big week, and both teams, they're playing teams that are around them on the table.
Yep.
So they could easily drop out of that 4. It's that tight. Surprisingly, United are favourites for that, even with the hectic schedule at $2.15. I wouldn't bet on it. I know they're playing at home, but I just feel like they're going to have other priorities. It's going to be harder than they think. Leicester's going to fight as well. Leicester's paying $3.30 to get a result. I don't think they get a result. They could sneak one, but safe bet again. Leicester double chance, $1.66.
We've got $1.61, $1.66.
Yep.
Last leg.
Last leg, Chelsea Arsenal,
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Again, 2 teams who've got priorities elsewhere. Chelsea obviously would have already made the Champions League final. When's the final? 28th of May or something? End of
End
May
of the
usually?
month, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a couple of weeks, but they would still want to cement that top 4 spot, because they're on the verge of dropping out of there. If they don't win the Champions League final and they drop out of the top 4, the season will be a complete failure. So, very, very tight game, and I think same for Arsenal. Depending on how they go in the Europa League second leg against Villarreal, same thing, that Arteta wouldn't want to end the season as a complete failure.
Chelsea are heavy favourites, but I don't think it's that. I don't think that's the case.
No, I actually think it'll be a tighter game than we think. I thought there might be goals, but when I sat and thought about it, I don't think there'll be that many goals.
So what's your bet?
I think it'll be a tight game, under 2.5.
Under 2.5 goals.
Yeah, $1.80.
So $1.61, $1.66, $1.80.
Yep.
Going a bit safer this.
I mean, if you're going
This
to combine
week.
them, it's still $4.84. Not safe, but
I know you're conservative, but far out.
so my bets are a little left of field today, you can say.
Are you confident enough for me to call a loan shark and get $10 million out?
Mate, I'll be confident on the. I'll be more confident on the Leicester bet
Okay.
out of all the bets.
You heard it here first. Any last words, Ak?
So guys, as always, if you want to like the video, please, and comment, let us know some of
Please,
the
he's
comments.
asking nicely now.
Yeah,
begging.
please.
Is that what you did to your wife?
Bru-
Just beg?
Well, mate, I mean, we tend to average like something
shit.
like 70, 80 views and like 10 people liking it. We really got to get those likes up. Please like the video, comment, and if you haven't subscribed,
Share.
subscribe, share, absolutely. Please share it around. We want to get
Comment.
the channel growing.
Talk shit, say fuck Johnny.
Oh, please do.
And why do we need this, Ak?
Sorry?
Why do we need to do this? Why do you want people to
Well,
like
mate, when you like the video and you comment, you're
I don't need
helping
no
the
story.
YouTube algorithm going and allows other people
I
to get
hope
the
you-
YouTube.
I hope your
video.
newborn has algorithm as a middle name. Think about it. Get
Mate,
back
I'm
to
just
me.
letting you know, just trying to help the channel grow. Johnny, come on.
Alright, guys. Suck shit to Real Madrid. Have a great week. We'll see you next
Fuck, I
time.
hope Adasi hears this.
Bye bye.